and vitamin E. It tastes rich and creamy like 2% without the saturated fat. And now try new Smart Balance 1% milk with Heartright. Natural ingredients clinically proven to help reduce cholesterol. It's 100% delicious.
New Dr. Phil, falling victim to financial fraud.
Our plans, our dreams, completely gone.
How to protect yourself from getting ripped off.
The necessary warning signs to recognize a scam.
Tomorrow at 5 on Local 10. The Bachelor, tonight at 8, only on Local 10.
Miami Acura rolls back payments on the all-new TSX to $299 a month. Going on now at Miami Acura.
Welcome to World News. Sinking stocks. Wall Street down again to its lowest level in more than 11 years. Open house, an extraordinary session at the White House. President Obama publicly answering questions from the Congress about his economic plans. Fighting flu. Radical new research shows promise for a lifetime vaccine against many strains of the flu. And the winner is Slumdog Millionaire. But a lot of those young stars you saw last night are still living in slums back home.
From ABC News headquarters, this is World News with Charles Gibson.
Good evening. Another day, another 250 points. A 250-point drop in the Dow Industrials, which are now down to their lowest level in 12 years. The NASDAQ today was down 54. Since February 10th, the day the administration announced its plan for supporting the banking system, stocks have lost nearly 14% of their value. Washington may be working overtime to reassure investors, but clearly Wall Street is not convinced. Here's Betsy Stark.
Investors picked up where they left off last week on a selling spree that sent the Dow to its lowest level in 12 years.
People are sort of looking at this market as one that we don't know when the bottom's going to be put in. So fear is really dictating trading right now.
One of the biggest fears is what will become of the country's biggest banks. Will think bad they will have to be nationalized, taken over by the government.
The whole nationalization fear scares the investors because if they're invested in these stocks, they get absolutely nothing. That's the common shareholders get wiped out.
The Treasury Department said today that starting Wednesday, it will begin subjecting about 20 of the nation's largest banks to stress tests. Any bank that cannot prove it has enough cash to weather an even more serious downturn, including higher unemployment, may face the prospect of the government becoming one of the direct owners of the bank. Analysts say first to face this outcome is likely to be Citigroup, which has already received $45 billion in government aid. Today, there were reports that Citi has asked the government to convert its bailout loan into as much as a 40% stake in the bank.
Investors don't like the fact that the government is the largest single shareholder in a bank like Citigroup.
That raises fears of the N-word. Nationalization is a dirty word on Wall Street.
We're not living in Cuba, we're not living in China. This whole system is built on, a democratic process, and part of that democratic process is free market capitalism.
But many analysts say fears like these are exaggerated.
This is about temporary nationalization. This is about taking it over for a short period of time, probably 1 or 2 years, and returning it to the market at a profit for taxpayers.
Betsy is joining us here on the set now, and I'm curious why nationalization is considered such a dirty word. The Obama administration has been at pains to say we're not going to nationalize the banks, but a lot of economists, and you heard some there, say this actually could be a positive step if the banks were a couple of banks were taken over for a couple of years.
A couple of things, Charlie. I mean, one of them is just about money. If banks are taken over by the government, then private investors could see the value of their shares either severely diluted or wiped out altogether. But the other thing is philosophical. Wall Street is the bastion of free market capitalism, and nationalization, even if it's meant to save the banks, is something that happens in socialist countries. It's not supposed to happen in the United States.
Those investors have been almost wiped out already, haven't they?
Well, it's not entirely rational. You're absolutely right about that, but there certainly is great resistance to this on Wall Street.
All right, Betsy Stark reporting tonight. And the president, having won his $750 billion stimulus package and working on hundreds of billions more to stabilize the financial system, turned today to the longer-term problem. How do you bring down the deficits that will swell with those short-term programs? He held what the White House called a fiscal responsibility summit. And it ended with the president publicly taking questions for 45 minutes from some of his sharpest congressional critics. Jake Tapper is at the White House tonight. Jake?
Good evening, Charlie. It was a remarkable scene here at the White House. President Obama invited to the White House policymakers of all stripes, business leaders, lawmakers, labor leaders, to talk about how to reduce the $1.3 trillion deficit and the $11 trillion national debt.
After all the meetings, President Obama, a former law professor, opened the summit to a freewheeling discussion. He first called on Senator John McCain, who targeted defense spending, specifically replacing Marine One with a newer version.
Your helicopter is now going to cost as much as Air Force One. I don't think that there's any more graphic demonstration of how good ideas have cost the taxpayers an enormous amount of money.
The helicopter I have now seems perfectly adequate to me. Of course, I've never had a helicopter before, so, you know, maybe I've been deprived and I didn't know it.
Republican Congressman Joe Barton said the process needs to improve for the tough decisions that lie ahead regarding the deficit.
I think the House Republicans have shown that when we're not included in the decision making, we're disinclined to sign off on the solution. This is a good first step.
I think you're making an important point. On the one hand, the majority has to be inclusive. On the other hand, the minority has to be constructive.
The 2010 budget Obama will announce on Thursday will, he says, set the nation down the path towards cutting the deficit in half by the end of his first term, from $1.3 trillion this year to $533 billion in 2013. He'll do this, he says, by drawing down the war in Iraq, though that relies on that conflict ending according to plans. Another source of revenue being proposed, allowing the Bush tax cuts for family earning over $250,000 a year to expire in 2011, increasing that tax rate from 35% to 39.6%. Deficit hawks applauded the president's focus today, saying ignoring the problem could cause an even more severe crisis.
If we don't come forth with a credible plan, those people who've been so generous at lending us money aren't going to be so willing to lend us that money, and then we're in real trouble.
And in that task, the president pledged to continue reaching out to Republicans, even to one of his fiercest critics, Congressman Eric Cantor of Virginia.
I'm going to keep on talking to Eric Cantor someday, sooner or later. He's going to say, boy, Obama had a good idea. It's going to happen.
Of the $787 billion stimulus package, Charlie, the president said to the group he has no interest in making government bigger for the sake of making it bigger. If the private sector was just humming along, no problem, he would love it. But he said those are not the circumstances in which we find ourselves. Charlie.
All right, Jake Tapper at the White House tonight. Thanks to you. And we have the results of the first ABC News poll taken since the president took office a month ago by a margin of 68 to 25%. The public says it approves of his overall job performance. George Stephanopoulos, the host of This Week, joins us now. George, break down that 68-25 number for me.
A huge partisan split, Charlie. Democrats think the president is doing a terrific job. 90% of Democrats think he's doing a good job. Republicans, not so much. Only 37% approval from Republicans. Independents are right in the middle, 67%.
And the poll also shows that the public supports the stimulus package, but at the same time is worried about what the president was talking about today and that fiscal responsibility. They're worried about the deficit.
No accident the president was having that summit today, Charlie. 87% of the country is worried about the deficit. 59% very concerned about the deficit. And again there, Charlie, you see a real rise among Republicans in the last month, a 10-point rise.
All right, we saw some real partisanship between Republicans and Democrats when the stimulus package was being debated. And there's always an overall question about which party is trusted better to handle the economy.
Right now, the president is winning this battle, Charlie, by a very wide margin, 61%. trust the president to handle the economy. Only 26% trust Republicans. And you saw in Jake's piece at the end there this question of reaching out to the Republican Party. 73% of the country believes President Obama is trying to reach out and work with Republicans. Only 34% of the country thinks that the Republicans are trying to reach out and work with President Obama. So he's got the advantage in these early battles.
All right. Some of the public response to the first month of the President Obama administration. And a reminder, President Obama will deliver his State of the Union address. It's really not a State of the Union, but it looks like it. They call it just a joint meeting of the Congress. But he will address both House and Senate tomorrow night, and we will have coverage beginning at 9 Central, 6 Pacific time. President Obama has spoken openly about the White House bubble, whether a president becomes out of touch when he's in the White House with the concerns of everyday Americans. Today, our Jake Tapper told us that the president has set up a system to hear daily from folks around the country. Each weekday, the president is getting a purple folder with 10 letters from ordinary citizens, letters chosen from the thousands the White House receives each day. These days, they're mostly about the economy. In the folder, a plea from an out-of-work truck driver, a senior citizen raising a grandchild. A businessman wrote that he doesn't want to lay off good workers, but may have to cut his workforce by 10%. And one woman, whose family is struggling to meet their mortgage, wrote that they were told they could not renegotiate unless they were delinquent in their payments. The president told his economic team to make sure the housing plan would help people like her. The idea of a president reading mail from citizens isn't new. Ronald Reagan would spend hours reading and answering mail, and we know FDR also read his mail during the last economic meltdown. And we can't help you get your letters read by the president, but we do ask you how to rate the president's first month in office. That's the question of the day. It's on our blog, The World Newser, at abcnews.com. On the money, 2 more newspaper companies have filed for bankruptcy protection as circulation and ad sales crumble. The owner of Philadelphia's 2 major dailies, including the Philadelphia Inquirer, filed Chapter 11. So did the owner of the New Haven Register and 19 other papers. The recession is forcing more older Americans to look for work or file for unemployment. New numbers show there's been a jump in the number of people in their 70s and even 80s trying to find a job. And our last on-the-money item, U.S. Airways admits the idea of charging for soft drinks fell flat, and it's bringing back free non-alcoholic beverages in coach. The first Guantanamo prisoner released since President Obama took office returned to Britain a free man today. Binyam Mohammed spent almost 7 years in U.S. custody, accused of being part of a conspiracy to set off a dirty bomb. He says he was tortured at a secret CIA site in Morocco and finally was moved to Guantanamo Bay. All charges against him were dropped 2 years ago. And one other overseas note, in Baghdad today, Iraqi officials dedicated the country's national museum. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki said the reopening showed Iraq has passed through a dark age. The museum was looted nearly 6 years ago following the U.S.-led invasion. While some artifacts have been returned, nearly 7,000 pieces from the Stone Age, the Biblical era, and Islamic culture are still missing. And still ahead on World News, breakthrough research in the fight against the flu. Why one shot could someday protect you for life. The invention that could have kept Flight 1549 from going down. One man's warning system finally getting some attention. And a world away from Hollywood, young movie stars who still live in the slums of India.
This is World News with Charles Gibson. Brought to you by Purina.
Discover Friskies Selects Indoor. Unlock the freshness and freedom of the outdoors for your indoor cat. Fueling an exhilarating adventure filled with delight. Each delectable entree is bursting with high-quality protein, plus wholesome grain and garden greens. Friskies Selects Indoor. Feed the senses.
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase, so tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever or unexplained weakness or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke beyond your other heart medicines alone. You may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
For the price of a night in, how about a night out? Applebee's 2 for $20 menu. 1 great appetizer to share, 2 amazing entrees, and lots of choice. Applebee's 2 for $20, the best deal in the neighborhood.
A couple of weeks ago, we reported on new clues that could someday lead to a cure for the common cold. Well, now, researchers are reporting major progress in the fight against the flu, which kills 36,000 Americans every year. As John McKenzie reports, a promising new study could hold the key to developing a flu vaccine that would work once and for all.
Scientists tonight are a major step closer to creating one vaccine to protect against hundreds of different flu strains.
We have identified a common Achilles heel of all influenza viruses, and this really allows us then to work on a universal vaccine that will give us lifelong immunity.
That's right, the potential for a flu vaccine you'd get once and for all. No more shots every year. No more reformulating vaccines every year to match the ever-changing strains.
The current vaccines are inadequate. They don't cover all the viruses that exist in nature.
A universal vaccine would also protect against the much-feared bird flu. Finding that one common target on so many different flu strains was made using mice infected with human influenza.
It was one of those eureka moments where the science, the achievement had superseded our expectations.
Researchers now hope to get a newly designed vaccine tested in people within 3 years.
To highlight just how erratic each flu season is and the need for a universal vaccine, the Centers for Disease Control says this flu season, which had been off to a slow start, is rapidly getting worse.
In just 1 week, the number of states reporting widespread flu activity has jumped from 16 to 24. And some people getting sick are contracting a flu strain not covered in this year's vaccine. In Colorado, 4 children have died from the flu in just the past few weeks.
Also tragic in that a previously healthy child should so quickly be lost from this world from something which most of us think is not a big deal, flu. But flu is a big deal.
And will continue to be, say researchers, until a better vaccine is developed. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
Dozens of children, some as young as 13, have been rescued in a nationwide FBI crackdown on the child sex trade. More than 45 suspected teenage prostitutes were rescued and 50 alleged pimps arrested in a series of raids dubbed Operation Cross Country, part of a larger federal effort to stop the sexual exploitation of children. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was back on the bench today, engaging in spirited questioning just 18 days after she had pancreatic cancer surgery. Despite the fact the cancer was caught at a very early stage, Kentucky Senator Jim Bunning said in a speech that 9 months is the longest anyone can live after a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. Bunning later said he was sorry if the comment offended Justice Ginsburg. And coming up, testing new technology to prevent another accident like Flight 1549.
Capturing the beauty of nature, sharing what I see. That's my vision, and I'm living it. Every day, Transitions lenses are there to help care for my sight.
Transitions lenses adjust to changing light to reduce glare and help protect your eyes from UV damage, so you can see better today and tomorrow. Live your vision. Transitions, healthy sight in every light.
Every tilt of the head, every tail wag,
Our pups know how to speak to us. And with a hearty, real beef taste and mouth-watering aroma, only Pupperoni lets them know we're listening. Pupperoni, dogs just know.
I was in the grocery store when I had a heart attack. My daughter was with me. I took a Bayer aspirin out of my purse and chewed it. My doctor said the Bayer aspirin saved my life. Please talk to your doctor about aspirin and your heart. I'm going to be grandma for a long time.
I worried what would happen if I didn't start taking care of my heart, but I wasn't ready to give up taste. Sometimes sacrifice is the name of the game.
Honey Nut Cheerio cereal tastes great and can help lower cholesterol.
I guess I can do this.
Be happy, be healthy.
They tickle, they tease, and you sneeze. Maybe it's time to ask your doctor about Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair blocks leukotrienes, an underlying cause of nasal allergy symptoms. And that's how Singulair works differently. One pill, once a day. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat allergies.
Right now, every penny counts. So why is Washington about to spend $1.8 million to research swine odor or $2.2 on grapes? Couldn't this money be better spent helping struggling Americans? Tomorrow, get to the bottom line with Charlie and ABC's World News.
March might be right around the corner, but a heavy winter storm has left parts of New England under more than 2 feet of snow. The late winter blast left 150,000 customers without power in Maine, where a state of emergency has been declared. And an update that we have on another storm, a month after that massive ice storm that hit Arkansas, the last 20 customers still without electricity in rural areas finally got their power back today. Next, a look at the new technology that could help prevent accidents like the crash landing of U.S. Air Flight 1549, downed by birds. Birds and other wildlife strike planes in this country more than 7,000 times a year. Just today, a helicopter crash in Louisiana that killed 8 last month was linked to a bird strike. ABC's Neil Karlinski on a way that the danger might be avoided.
Steve Osmek has been toiling away on a strange new radar for airports that no one paid much attention to until this.
Bird strike, he lost all engines.
Downing of U.S. Airways Flight 1549 by a flock of birds.
Before this accident, this was something that it was mostly the folks in the industry, but now everybody seems to be interested in it.
It's called Avian Radar, a system that can detect birds in the way of aircraft 6 miles out, the distance of Flight 1549.
Here we have some bird activity, which is probably about a mile to the west of our airport.
We showed it to ABC News aviation consultant John Nance and asked him whether it could have protected that U.S. air flight.
If we had had a system like this that was perfected, it could have not only helped them, it could have prevented this collision.
This red-tailed hawk was caught near the runway here just a few hours ago, and even a single bird this size, not even 2 pounds, is capable of causing serious damage to a jet engine.
While the nation's airports currently defend against the problem with crude scare tactics, Osmek is testing a system that doesn't rely on spotters and can even work in heavy fog.
So here we have a flock of birds, both at mid and high levels.
It uses a series of small radar units which have been refined to pick out birds from all the clutter and determine their course, speed, and altitude.
The software alerts us either through email, you can call my cell phone.
6 center, clear for takeoff.
When the system is perfected, the information could be sent directly to the cockpit. For now, JFK, O'Hare, and Dallas airports are all in line to test the Avian Radar, looking for an early warning to a problem pilots today don't see until it's too late. Neil Karlinski, ABC News, Seattle.
And up next, children of the Mumbai slums have a night to celebrate.
This is a Centrum multivitamin, complete from A to zinc. This is CoraWise, a natural ingredient that can lower cholesterol. Put them together and you get Centrum Cardio, the first and only complete multivitamin that can lower cholesterol. Centrum Cardio.
For many with arthritis pain, not treating is not an option. All prescription NSAID pain relievers like Celebrex, ibuprofen, and naproxen help treat arthritis pain and have some of the same warnings. But since individual results may vary, having options is important. Prescription Celebrex has been the option for millions of patients for 10 straight years. Just one 200 milligram Celebrex can provide dependable 24-hour relief for many with arthritis pain, stiffness, and inflammation. Based on the available data, the FDA stated that for certain patients, Celebrex's benefits outweigh the risks. If you're worried about stomach upset, you should know. In clinical studies, a lower percentage of patients taking Celebrex reported stomach discomfort versus prescription ibuprofen and naproxen. And if you are taking low-dose aspirin for your heart and need an NSAID pain reliever, Celebrex can be used because it doesn't interfere with the effects of low-dose aspirin. But when it comes to relieving your arthritis pain, you and your doctor need to balance the benefits with the risks. The FDA requires all prescription NSAIDs, including Celebrex, ibuprofen, naproxen, and meloxicam, to have the same cardiovascular warning. They all may increase the chance of heart attack or stroke, which can lead to death. This chance increases if you have heart disease or risk factors for it, such as high blood pressure or when NSAIDs are taken for long periods. All prescription NSAIDs, including Celebrex, also increase the chance of serious skin reactions or stomach and intestine problems, such as bleeding and ulcers, which can occur without warning and may cause death. Patients also taking aspirin and the elderly are at increased risk for stomach bleeding and ulcers. Do not take Celebrex if you're allergic to aspirin or sulfonamides. Ask your doctor if you could benefit from Celebrex. Understand the risks, feel the benefits.
Hot waffles. The smell of warm maple syrup.
You know the smell after it rains? That's it.
Whatever scents fill your household, Tidy Cat Scoop neutralizes the odors of multiple cats. New Tidy Cat Scoop. Keep home smelling like home.
2 weeks from tonight, fighting crime should never be by the book.
You ever have any fun when the cops go wild?
You do know I'm wearing a gun.
ABC's Castle. Series premiere 2 weeks from tonight at 10/9 Central on ABC.
Tomorrow, so many homes in foreclosure, so many families in crisis. But what did these homeowners know that may help them beat the bank and keep their homes? Tomorrow, their secret. Could it help save the home of someone you love? Watch Good Morning America and go to abcnews.com. Click GMA for more secrets to surviving foreclosure.
Finally tonight, happiness amid hardship. Mumbai, India is more than 8,000 miles and a world apart from Hollywood. But last night in the desperate, sprawling slums of Mumbai, children had a reason to celebrate as the movie that depicts their lives took home top honors. Some of the stars of the movie actually still live among them in those slums. Our digital reporter, Karen Russo, is in Mumbai, where all eyes last night were on the Oscars.
It's the stuff of a Hollywood fairy tale.
These are the kids from Slumdog Millionaire.
There they are, on the red carpet, in the glare of the paparazzi, and on the party circuit. And this is where they live, in the slums of Mumbai. This is where 10-year-old Atsarudin Mohammed Ismail and 9-year-old Rubina Ali were plucked from obscurity to play young Salim and young Latika, children struggling to survive in these very slums, just like they do. Atsarudin lives behind a wall made of blankets. His father has tuberculosis. Rubina's family of 8 lives in this one room. Seemingly overnight, their low-budget movie has become a sensation. The children earned a trip to Hollywood for Oscar night. But first, Rubina needed shoes, and Atsarudin needed a suitcase for his first plane ride. With them, the children also carried the hopes and dreams of their slum.
Rubina's mother wanted the film to win, not just because her daughter had worked so hard in her role, but also because she wanted all of India and the world to see what it's like to live in the slums.
The life here is so bad, there is no education, she says. We live the life of a dog. But as they gathered in their shacks and filthy alleyways to watch the awards, they shared in the fairy tale too. With each Oscar win, the cheers went out. And for another day, the fairy tale continued for the child stars, with a trip to Disneyland. Soon, they will leave all of this behind, and unlike the movie, they are not instant millionaires. They still live in this slum. But they do have a new school paid for by the film's producers, and a trust fund when they complete their education. And for the people in this slum, today they were winners as well, and the world was watching. Karen Russo, ABC News, Mumbai, India.
And that's World News. Hope you had a good day. For all of us at ABC News, a good night.
Dancing with the Stars' new cast is so stunning, so full of stars, it'll make your jaw drop. Dancing with the Stars 2-hour premiere event live 2 weeks from tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC.
At Preferred Care Partners, we understand what it means to care for people.
I had a stroke about 1.5 years ago. I had to be in the hospital. They did all kinds of tests. And when I got out of the hospital, I never received a bill for the services that were rendered. Go to Preferred Care Partners. They'll take care of you and you'll save money. And most important, they listen to you.
Preferred Care Partners, we listen, we're there, we care.
You can be part of the next Cinderella story at the American Idol Experience. New at Disney's Hollywood Studios at the Walt Disney World Resort.
Wheel of Fortune is next, right here on Local 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Sajak and Vanna White.
Hey there. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks, folks. What a lovely walk that was. Thank you very much. Go over that way. How you doing? Well, the moment you've been waiting for has arrived at last. Get ready. We're going to give away some money here. $1,000. The category is fun and games. And it's Jennifer.
Playing ping pong.
That would be it, yes. Jennifer Arment, right?
Yes.
Is from Bothell, Washington?
Yeah.
And you are a process technical integrator.
Yes. I work for a leading aerospace company.
Okay.
I enjoy that.
Sounds like good work.
Yeah.
You're married?
I am married to my sexy husband, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a great family. I have 2 cats, Layla and Madden.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay,
Here,
that
have
sounds
some
good. Well, maybe we'll, is your husband here?
He is here.
Yeah, well, if you end up in the bonus round, America will judge whether
Yeah.
you're overselling or not. All right, nice to have you here. I'm sure he is. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Pat.
Matt Grable is from Watertown, Connecticut. Married man?
Yep. To my beautiful wife, Jen. We've been married for about 1.5 years now.
And you work for whom?
Leading tax preparation firm in the country.
Mm-hmm. Big Red Sox fan?
Big Red Sox fan. Weekend season ticket holder for about the past 10 years. I do have a confession to make, though.
Uh-oh.
My wife's a Yankee fan.
Wow. And you're still together?
Still together.
Wow, that's a wonderful thing. Nice to have you here, Pat. It was nice of you to mention that on national television. Tiffany Roughton, is that right?
It is.
From right here in Los